Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing wonderful. My name is Scott Mending. I'm pretty stoked to have every one of you here on Unlock Church's YouTube channel. This place exists to give you an escape from all the craziness in the world. Maybe some of you jumping in from my personal channel after watching our holiday gift guide for this year. Go give some love to those creators, see what you like, maybe purchase something they'd be grateful, I'm sure, for. They had no idea we were dropping that video today, so we're pretty stoked. Merry Christmas to all of them if they're coming here. Not alone today, never alone, always surrounded by great people, great friends. I have the one and only to my left, Lily Wiener.
Hello! How's it going?
How are you doing, Lil?
I'm doing good. We got the flannel vibes today.
We do. Joey, you got a flannel
I am wearing a flannel.
What?
What's up, everybody? Except for I do not have the Christmas type of flannel. You guys have the red and
yes,
blue
I do.
and green.
I have been.
I do not.
Told lately that I'm a Grinch, so check out. You will not see me in anything but red and green until the end of the season.
Oh wow! Okay.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it. I can't wait.
I think there's gonna be a Sunday where you are not wearing red or green.
Bet.
No.
Bet.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying just Sundays, or are you saying Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Oh, come on.
What? I'm just trying to see. You said there will not be a day.
Just Sundays.
Oh, just Sundays.
No, I meant like you all. Y'all not seeing me?
Okay, hold on. Can we define red like in the greens?
Oh
it's got to
my
be Christmas
gosh.
red and green, not like neon green and like burgundy.
But it's 2021 and olive green is in.
It's
obviously.
in, but that's not Christmas colors. You're wearing army
Let's
fatigues.
let the chat decide.
Yeah, in the chat. Is it Christmas green? This what she's wearing, or is it open to any color green and red, or is it like this bright red and like a evergreen green? What do you think, Joey?
I think it's like a evergreen.
You think that Christmas green can be evergreen?
Yeah, like
yeah, me too.
yeah.
Like this.
No,
Look at all
that's
the
not
greens
evergreen.
behind me. This
yeah,
is
I'm
olive
looking.
green.
You
Yeah,
look
that's
like
what I was-
You have
that-
army fatigues on, and you don't have the green on. That's on the trees. That's all I'm saying. It's not Christmassy green. That's not what I would hang in my home.
That's sad.
That's sad? No, I like the green. Okay. I can't wait to see what the chat says on this because it's going to be very, I'm sure, all over the place. But reds and green.
No, Johan, don't say that.
What did he say?
Michaela.
He said, no, it has to be Christmas colors. Michaela says any type of green or red. That's right, Michaela.
Yeah, Michaela, get out of here.
That girl, she's always.
No, I'm saying.
This?
I'm saying
That's
it's this
red or
red and the green that we see behind us.
Get out of here.
That's why that makes that backdrop pop so much.
It's so funny. All the girls are saying.
That's because girls want freedom in what they're gonna wear. That's what.
Oh.
Okay.
No, they just want to be on Lily's side.
Yeah.
Yeah, girls wear. And Teresa Johnson saying any type of green or red. We're us girls. We stick together.
No, hold on.
Love that.
I know that Teresa. You said Teresa Jackson?
Yeah.
Johnson, sorry. She's a Cowboy fan, so her opinion is diminished a little bit on about the colors.
Okay.
That's my sister, by the way, to all of you.
That's American football team.
Okay.
So.
Okay. We're really stoked to have all of you with us. Yesterday we filmed our Christmas Day special. If you didn't know, on this channel, this will be our 4th year dropping a Christmas Day special. It happens around 1 o'clock on Christmas. We always have fun coming around the TV and watching the shenanigans. And we deliver some shenanigans for you on Christmas Day with a cool story. It'll be on my channel. Joey, Lily, and I compete. Next week we'll bring you what we are competing for. It is one of the coolest trophies. We've made a sword out of rail guards. It looks so amazing and something that we all want to have in our homes. I don't know about like Joey's and my wife wants them, but Joey, sadly you don't have any big trophies yet of your wins. How do you feel about that?
Good point. I don't. But I might get this one and hang it up in my room, like right by my bed, just to look at every morning or something. If I get the W.
If I get the W, I'm going to be using it for what it was created for.
So you're
To
gonna
hit Scott in the office or something?
Yeah, what are you gonna holster it and bring it in every day?
I'm going to be on guard all day.
Okay.
All day.
I like how I think Dan's alluding to, I'm not jumping into that foxhole with you. Either that is the red and green conversation or the cowboy statement. I'm not sure which one he's after.
All of it.
Probably all of it. He's
Literally.
like, Scott
Dan,
being feisty today.
Dan, come to the dark side.
Oh, man. Dan, there's a contrast in our weather. Here, in your weather, we have about 2 inches of white snow and very windy today. Just feels so Christmassy around here. That's such a thing. Okay. I just had to get that out of the way. Can't wait to drop our Christmas video for you. And next week's, it's a good season. It just is. Okay. We are really stoked about the season, if you can't tell. I mean, we changed our backdrop. Hello, Joey's got a few Christmas trees over there. Joey, do you feel a little shafted to not have this bright red truck behind you?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm a little bit shafted, but I do have some Christmas trees, and it's a little more my style versus your style. So this is my type of Christmas tree. Just a
Why
plain
is
old.
he not being called a Grinch when he says things like that?
I wasn't really listening. I was reading. I was reading the chat. So
I'm just saying this is my style, nice and plain. Like, come on.
We got to get some. I think
those are some real authentic trees right there.
No, they are fake trees. That might look. Come on.
White lie.
Actually,
Sorry.
Hey, just behind the scenes. If you've ever tried to throw or launch a Christmas tree while riding your one wheel, we did that for our Christmas Day special. It was like shot putting a Christmas tree. So funny.
It was.
And we can't wait for you to see it.
Threw out
Okay.
my shoulder.
She threw. Come on,
I
you
did.
were.
No, I don't normally throw like that though.
I understand. Okay, I'm loving the comments today. If you're not in the comments, jump in there. Especially live here on Sundays, you can talk to heaps of people, spreading the stoke about just life in general. So good to see everybody. We're gonna say hello to everybody after this upcoming video, which is so good. You know what? What is one of the oldest search engines, Lily, that no one uses online anymore? Name one. Very few.
Yahoo.
Yahoo. Can you think about that? Where'd it go? Why did it stop? What makes Yahoo?
Oh, it went somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's still there. But why
No,
is Yahoo not a thing as popular as Google?
It went deep away.
Where? Like
into the depths
of what?
of the internet. It's gone.
You're just speaking words. I mean, Steven's over here, his eyebrows, who is running our sound and so much technology on the table, his eyebrows are raising like she has no idea what she's speaking of. Interestingly, deep into the... Okay, Joey, name another search engine besides Google and Yahoo. Ooh.
I think this is is it GoDaddy or something?
GoDaddy is where you buy
That's where you-
your website names, the domains, like unlikechurch.com or Scott Mendenhall.
How about something like Boingio? Or
Boingio?
Bing?
What?
Bing.
Bing!
Bing.
Yes, okay, Bing is one of them.
Boingio hotspot is at the airport.
Okay, yes, okay, wow, we are
Firefox.
online and
Firefox.
these guys are firing on all cylinders today. Well, anyways, the reason we talk about search engines, we got a pretty comical video, a search engine related to this time of year. And they search things like, how do I deal with my family? How do I deal with egg? Can you drink eggnog if it's expired? All those things. It's really funny with a point. And we exist on this channel to really give you a different view on things in life, in your country, in your world, where you're living. We're going to point you to something different than you got to fix the problem. It's on you. We're pointing to something larger than us, and it's so cool this time of year because so much of the world now, actually, their attention is to the Christmas story, and we want to always help fine-tune the real Christmas story. And so this video starts that conversation. And today we are talking about week 2 in how to reconcile broken relationships, how to fix broken relationships. What are the must-dos? It's going to be pretty exciting. But on our journey to that topic, we got some videos. So check out this video about a Christmas search engine. I think it'll put a smile on your face today. Enjoy.
Hey, welcome. I'm the Christmas search engine, and I can help you find anything related to
DIY Christmas decorations.
Oh, okay. Let's jump right in. Here we go.
What date Christmas this year?
December 25th.
What date Christmas next year?
December 25th?
Song that goes.
I think I know what you're looking for.
How cook ham?
Okay.
How cook ham fast? Oh, ham flamethrower recipe.
Wait, what?
Christmas present mom.
Nice.
Cheap.
Nice.
What date Christmas 2035?
Are you serious?
Is Santa Claus real?
You should maybe ask your parents about that.
Gift wrap bowling ball.
Please be careful.
Custom dog Christmas.
Sorry, what?
Christmas dog custom cute.
Oh, you mean costume?
Christmas dog costume cute.
Gift wrap accordion.
That's gonna be tricky.
Can I drink expired eggnog?
No.
What happens if drank expired eggnog?
Why'd you even ask me in the first place?
Dealing with relatives.
Okay.
Dealing with nosy relatives.
Well.
Dealing with my nosy, overbearing relatives who won't stay out of my business. Sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty much all the same stuff.
Gift wrap a saddle.
Who are you buying this stuff for?
Santa Claus riding a unicorn. Santa Claus riding a unicorn socks.
Is that a thing?
Search it up.
Oh, wow. Here they are.
Take my money.
Norwegian tree skirts.
How many lights, one outlet?
Elf pajamas.
Dog singing Christmas carols.
Oh. Hello.
What is Christmas really about?
I've got just the thing. An angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins.
So, Jesus?
Jesus.
May I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
How fix burnt ham?
Okay.
You know what? Forget it. Pizza delivery Christmas Eve.
No problem.
Okay, be honest. How many of you ordered pizza on Christmas? We eat it on Christmas Eve every year. It's a thing here. We get done with Christmas Eve service, and no one wants to make anything, so we kick off our 24 hours of joy around here for Christmas with pizza, and then on Christmas Day, all we do is eat. I call it junk food. Some people have different names, but like things we don't eat ever in the year. But like we do pizza rolls, we do Tostitos. Is that a thing?
Tostitos, finger food.
Finger food. Thank you, Lil.
Yeah.
We do. That's how we spend our Christmas Day. I would love to hear some of your
What
traditions, what you eat and stuff. We do that so that we can spend time just hanging by the fire and with all the new gifts, and no one has to worry about cooking. As on Thanksgiving, we go all out on the crazy foods. Our Christmas is all about simplicity, on eating just until you don't feel good anymore. That's really what it's about. Lil, what are some of your go-to foods on Christmas?
Oh, coffee.
That's not a food. What is going on? I ask food, coffee. Oh my goodness. Tell me what supplements you take. Coffee. Okay, Joey, we're going to you. We're just bypassing her right now. Let's go to you. What's something that you eat? It's like a go-to thing on Christmas.
Ham.
Ham.
Yep.
I was gonna say ham.
Ham.
Well, you didn't. Joey stole it.
I'm one of those
Christmas.
that's like turkey on Thanksgiving, ham on Christmas. But
I think that's pretty
who does
like.
Italian
I feel like that's pretty normal.
Oh, so you're saying we don't do it normal? Is that what you just said?
Well, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm totally offended. I'm going to cross my arms and be really upset at you. No, I'm just messing. Okay, so we'd love to hear it. Sorry, Dan, to hear about your favorite chicken. We have enjoyed seeing pictures of your chicken family, and bummer to hear. It's never fun when you have an animal that you've been raising not doing well, so sorry to hear that as I was just reading the comments. I do want to say hello and good morning to so many people, so let me grab my trusty iPad. We got Noah in the house. Noah's from Canada, so cool to have him. We've got Michael Ryan in the house. Good to have him. We got Dan, like I said. We got Tree Kenner 13. Yep. Jennifer Woodham is in the house. Let's see who else do we got. Kayla Lilly in the house. We were having a conversation on the other channel comparing weather. 80 degrees where she is at the moment, and we're not even in the 30s. I doubt we get there today. Johan Richard. Oh, so good to have him. We haven't seen your name in forever, so welcome back. Mary Mendenhall in the house. That's my mom. She just left here 2 days ago, and she was hoping while she was here she was going to get snow, and she vamooses, and we get snow.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
Should have stayed.
I'll send you a picture. It's all. Let's be honest. I'm going to attempt to send you. I might send you a picture.
Mary, I'll send you a picture.
There you go. Somebody get it done. Okay. Next thing up today for you is that we always like to give you a moment to reflect. And today is in the heart of Christmas. We're going to play one of those Christmas carols that just, if you think about the words, is pretty cool, pretty powerful. I know I sometimes take for granted the Christmas carols because it's like the style isn't my style. It doesn't have enough energy. But the words really are trying to pass down to generations the truth and the meaning behind Christmas. Have you ever thought about that? Like before the written word, the only way to pass on people's stories was what, Lil? You don't know?
I was responding to Johan, but I think that what you're looking for is passing down by just word of mouth.
Yeah, I was
that's
also
what
singing. Singing stories. Can you, here's what we want. We're going to give Joey and Lily a chance to sing, to pass down a story of one of our one-wheel races where we had to slalom, okay? Remember that race? We had to slalom between sticks, and we had to then play cornhole. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to sing the
All right.
story of that. Joey, we're coming to you next, and you guys listening, you're going to see if you understand it. Here's a great thing, is after this, you can go back to our channel, search for it. I think it's One Wheel Slalom or something like that. It was a year ago, and see if they did an accurate passing down of the tale of the day we one wheel slalom. So Lily, you're gonna go first, would you please?
So we're making it up together, but I'm starting it.
No. You're gonna do your own, and then Joey's gonna do his own. You're passing down the story. Okay, Lily, take it away.
There once was a one-wheel race that we participated in, and Scott got really mad because we were maybe cheating. And he said, I am trying to get video angles and you're all screwing around. And then we said sorry, and that was the tale of the slalom cornhole race.
There's a lot of ands in there. I don't know many songs passed down that it's an and, but hey, you know.
You gotta have transition words, bro.
Yeah.
How did I do?
You did good. Okay, there's my clap for you. Joey? Well, I mean, I'm not the judge. It's those that are in the chat. They're probably, if they're just tuning in going, what did I... They actually just unsubscribed right from there. All right, Joey. Same story, passing it down through... You're thinking about, you're going to sing this lullaby to your daughter. Yep. In your hands, you're going to tell the story of... There once was a man named Scott. Okay, here we go, Joey. Let's hear it.
All right. There once was a one-wheel race, and we slalomed through the course, and we were throwing beans into a hole. And then what happened was Scott was trying to take pictures and videos at a different angle, and we kept going and cheated a little bit. And then what happened is we had a group meeting, and I said, just forget about it.
It's so true. That day, Joey was like, can we all just get along?
Yeah.
There's always someone that's like, everyone gets a trophy and let's be happy.
Yeah. And you guys are all wondering, why are we telling the story, singing it on? Because it's going to make sense when we get to the conversation in a little bit. That we do have fun, but there are times where our relationships are under pressure. And that day, and we filmed it all, we were under pressure. And I don't remember Joey, Joey and Lily both said they cheated. I don't think anybody cheated. I think that there were mishaps in that, taking advantage of moments where I was flying a drone.
Actions. Yeah.
But I don't remember calling anyone a cheater. I was more frustrated that I lost. But nonetheless, thank you for singing. And we will get to that. But the whole point of that little exercise there was the songs at Christmas are really passing down the truths of Christmas, the meaning of Christmas. So this song you're going to listen to the lyrics, and you'll see what I mean is this is a way of people making sure that the real Christmas story that happened way back with Mary, Joseph, and Jesus in a barn was told and passed down. So enjoy this, reflect what this season means for you, and then we're going to come back and talk about how to reconcile Christmas, or reconcile the story of Christmas with your family. You'll see what I mean. Check this out right here.
Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sound in joy, repeat the sound in joy, repeat the sound in joy. He rose the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations proud the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. And wonders of his love.
Okay, that song, I mean, you can see, right? It's passing down the truth and the excitement of this time of the season, and it's not surrounded by presents, Santa Claus, reindeer, and all those things, which I enjoy. I really do. Those things make the season really fun as a family, but sometimes it's lost this time of year in that that's what it's about, and we forget that, man, the joy of the world came. Like, the world that we think we live in is driven by the joy of money and big things and whatever it is in your culture. But the real joy of the world is that God reconciled with humans through the Christmas story. Reconciling is making right the relationship, getting it back to where it's healthy, it's in good standings. And that's the Christmas story. God and humans reconciled. And then we've posed this question we started last week. How about human to human? What can we learn through the Christmas story that would help us fix our broken relationships? And we talked about it last week. This week today we're only going to give you 1 point. 1 point to start you down the road of reconciling your broken relationships. And it's very interesting last week to hear different people share, yeah, this is so good, and then they're like, but you don't mean this person, right? Like they were nullifying individuals that came to their mind because, like, well, that's an awkward conversation. That was so long ago. Well, maybe we'll get to that and we'll answer that question a little bit more, but I have to think and be so bold to say, if there was a name that came to your mind and you were trying to talk yourself out of it, it was probably the person you should begin to reconcile with. Now, I got a great story for you, but I'm going to ask Lily and Joey a question, and I want to know from you this similar question. Have you ever bought something, Joey or Lily, that you had the option to let somebody else build it? You pay like an extra couple bucks, $50, and they'll build it. So did you have that option, or did you not take that option and build it yourself? Have you ever passed on allowing somebody else to build something and they're experts in it, to build it yourself? Joey, we're going to go with you because you are a homeowner, man. Have you had to do this yet?
I'll
take that as a no.
I would say no. Michaela has. My wife has. So I feel like, we're one. So.
And what was it?
She put in new decorative, bathroom flooring. But, yeah, it's not the most, expensive flooring, but she put it in.
But did she have the option of paying somebody else to do it, an expert? No.
I don't know.
You don't know.
She could have, probably.
She could have. All right.
Probably, but it was easy.
All right, how about you, Lily? Any opportunities of these in your short little life? And when I mean short, I mean you are short.
I have tons of IKEA furniture. I probably could have paid someone to do that, but
do they do that at IKEA?
I don't know. I probably could have just paid you to do it. That's kind of what I was gathering from your question. No. And also, one time, I redid my one wheel, including the tire, And I didn't pay them, but two, not one, two friends of mine did it for me. And I watched.
Oh my goodness,
Those
yes.
are the things I thought of.
Okay, that's fair. I had an opportunity over this past summer. I bought a smoker. And you've heard me talk about it probably here enough that I have a smoker. I like to smoke things. Well, I get it from Lowe's. It's a tremendous story, but the real detail of this is we order it online from Lowe's, and we had the option to pay a measly couple bucks to let someone there build it for me. I was like, no, it comes with instruction manuals. What do they think, I can't build this thing? And so Holly brings it back home. It was heavier than I thought, so now I'm wrestling a large box. I think Lily might have helped me carry it to the back deck. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna build it, and then we're gonna smoke tonight. It's gonna be awesome. So Holly prepared the chicken, and I began to assemble the smoker. Do you remember this, Lily? Didn't you help me move that box?
I don't remember helping you with that.
You're killing me today,
But
Smalls.
I help you carry lots of things
You
because you asked for the muscle.
Wow, okay, thank you. Any opportunity Lily can sneak into flex,
Yeah,
she
because
does.
you could really tell.
It's just she wants to
With
know,
all
let
the
you know she works out a lot. Functional fitness is her name of the game, except for when it comes to throwing Christmas trees. Functional fitness is
Hey
out.
now, we don't know
Hey
what
now,
the
I think
outcome
that's a
was.
song, Lil.
Hey
you know.
now, we're an all-star.
Ooh,
Get your game
well
on.
done.
Go play.
Okay, don't sing anymore. We'll get a copyright strike on
I
the
went
channel.
to
Oh my
Lizzie
goodness.
McGuire, not Shrek.
Okay, so we begin to build the smoker, we being me. I lose it. Like, I'm so frustrated. It's not going together fast. It took me like hours. Like, I'm building this thing now in the dark. We didn't eat until 11 o'clock that night because I was so committed to getting this thing done. There was no way I was going to be beaten. I was trying to follow the instructions. I was trying to make sure I had everything with it. And then when I go to turn it on, it doesn't work properly. So what do? Well, if you've ever bought anything, it comes with instruction manuals how to put it together. But when it's not working right, all you get is a troubleshooting guide. Right? You know what I'm talking about? You look to the back, and if these 5 things are happening, do these things. I don't know about you, but my thing that is always happening and going wrong with the device I own is never on the troubleshooting guide. It's something else that's broken. They're not giving me a manual on how to fix it. And the truth is, that's our relationships. We're pretty good and intuitive of putting together relationships and maintaining them, but when it comes to fixing them, there is no real default that's healthy in fixing relationships. So that's what we're talking about, how to fix relationships. And some of you right there are discouraged, like, wait, hold on. My default to fixing relationships is probably not the best. That's correct. Lily's got a pie over there. She's going to help illustrate this. Okay, the question I have for Lily is, the day we got all into a little fight into that race, it was heated at times. Some of it didn't make it into the footage, but we were obviously a broken relationship at that point. If we didn't stand around in a field for a couple hours, and if we would have listened to Joey actually at one point, this is kind of silly. Why are we all let's just walk away. We would have our relationship would have suffered and be very different today. But we stood around in a soccer field and talked for hours about this. And Lily, I want you to show me in the pie cut a slice out of that pie, how much of that day was your fault. So you're going to give ownership to it. Yeah. Did you not know that's what I was going to have you do?
No, I didn't know. No, I knew I was going to cut it, but I was like...
Okay, so you're cutting
how much?
How much was your fault?
My fault?
Yes. And be honest. You don't have to think about how much of that day is your fault. 100% of it is the pie. If you try to do equal, that is just silly.
Why?
Because that's not real life, but oh well. Okay, don't take it out. Just leave it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, she's making a cut. What kind of pie is it?
Mixed berry.
It's
pie?
what?
Mixed berry.
Mixed berry. Wow, exciting stuff.
I know,
okay.
right?
All right, let's see. How much are you calling is your ownership to the pie? You can kind of see that if we can get on the close shot without her. Oh, yeah. Okay, so what would you say? Are you saying that's a quarter?
A quarter, yeah.
Okay.
4 of us?
The 4 of us. So you're saying everyone had an equal part in the situation.
So, yes.
Okay. Let's hand that off to Joey. We'd like to see Joey cut this. So, Joey, you're going to cut in the pie how much of the issue on that given day was your fault. You're owning your piece of the pie. Now, I'm telling you, you guys need to go watch this video, and you'll get a lot of context of it. Maybe we should have had the thumbnail. Maybe, Lily, you'll look up the name of it for everyone. Okay, Joey, what do you think? How much of that day was your fault? How much are you owning? Are you doing a quarter? It looks like he might be doing a quarter, folks. He cannot talk and cut, though.
Are we gonna ruin your point here?
No.
I just did. I did a little bit because, to be honest, I probably just didn't even know what was going on. So I just there you go.
Yeah, he just comes in.
So why wouldn't you just say none of it? When you just
because
I
feel like I can't do that.
Because of we're talking about broken relationships. Is that correct?
Partially.
So it's not all.
And I did keep going in the race when I might have when the whole I don't know.
No,
I was part of the problem.
But you can't.
I was part of it, but not the whole problem.
Not the whole problem. Okay. Now the question is, how much am I gonna own of this story? I can either go, well, yeah, it's probably 25% of it. It could have been a majority of it. It could be a little sliver. The question you have to ask yourself, as Lil's bringing in the pie for me, is how much of this, thanks Lil, is my fault? Now this seems to be somewhat of a frozen pie at the moment. It's a little bit stiff, if you will. Okay, so Joey has just a normal, if I don't know if you can really tell on here, but Joey is got, let me get it up here. There you can see this. Joey's got just a normal slice of the pie. Lily's got a normal slice of pie that she would choose to eat as well. It's funny to watch them cut what they would just be eating for themselves. Now you have a bunch left of the pie, and I would be honest, there is 4 people involved in this, and they're not here, so we can't speak for them. But when I was thinking about this, yes, in light of this talk or thought, and to be honest, majority of the issue was me. I took offense to what was taking place, and then my reaction to the moment blew the thing up. Maybe I was warranted, but at the end of the day, I blew it all up. Joey oblivious, Lily probably oblivious because she could not, for the life of her, get her bing bags into the cornhole at all. Okay, and then to watch in the episode where I get done and I don't finish the race correctly, I blow through everybody. It was just a lucky tosses. But I wanted to move the drone to get some good shots, so I just went to the drone and I didn't go back and finish the race. And Kristen, one of our great friends here who moved to Florida, back home, she was there and she knew it. She didn't share it, and it's oh, what? I felt hurt, and then I reacted in my hurt and blew it up. So I would own a majority of the pie. And now, because there's other relationships in there, yeah, they own some of it as well. Probably not as much as they are kindly doing in the pie. My question for you, in your broken relationships, how much of the pie do you own? How much of the pie in those relationships that you're thinking about do you own? Because when we tell the narrative of broken relationships, Lily, how do we share those narratives most of the time?
From our point of view.
And are we the victims or villains?
Oh, always the victim. Always the no, but what you don't understand is like that.
Yeah, it's our vantage point, and I am the victim, and sometimes that happens, but statistics would say that this very small area where it's 100% on somebody else, there's always a portion that is on us. Yet when we tell the narratives on repeat in our minds, we never own our piece of the pie. When I do marriage counseling and sit down with couples that are at odds with each other, I a lot of times start with a pie. Own your piece of the pie. And now, people have been around long enough, I've shared this, so I have a different way of doing this. But when people didn't know what I was doing, it was minor slivers. They're a sliver of it's me, the rest is them. Here's why. This is what they did to me. And I wouldn't have done that if they didn't say that stuff. And we tell the narrative where it's one-sided, we're the victims, and we don't own our piece of the pie. And when we don't own the piece of our pie, guess what? We then sit back and go, it's not my fault. I got nothing to do. Why would I try to reconcile? Why would I try to fix this broken relationship? It's not my fault. It's their fault. They're the ones that need to ask forgiveness. They're the ones that need to pay for it. They're the ones that need to move in my direction. I would never move in their direction. Joey, what makes it so hard for us to own, in real life, Joey, in scenario, what makes it so hard to own a piece of the pie when it comes to broken relationships?
I think just just not wanting to be wrong, not wanting to be at fault. I think, we look at it through our lens and we don't think what we're doing is wrong, but the other person might, and just accepting that, humbling yourself to like realize that you're not perfect and you're not that you might be screwing up a little bit and you are part of the problem. So I think just accepting it.
I think, Lily, I'm gonna toss you lightly under the bus here, okay? I think one of the things that we all know, and it's not like Joey and I know, she's been open up about her struggle for perfection. I think it's a lot of times we don't want to admit that we have flaws too. Like, we know we do, but to say it out loud to people, to admit, I spoke out of turn, I assumed the worst instead of the best, to put ourselves in those positions, we look a fool, and we don't like to look a fool. Lily, can you relate to that? Like, when you've messed up, perhaps you struggle because of that? I like to have the appearance of I never make mistakes. Is that a true statement or no?
Yes, it's very true. Like, I'm like already squirming. Yeah, of course. I don't like doing things wrong the first time.
But
like, even when it comes down to like setting something up, like even like constructing something, or like, I don't know. I don't like having to be taught. Like, I just have this expectation that I should already know, and that's my desire to be perfect, and I just can't be that.
So with what she's saying there, and I hope you guys are answering these questions I'm asking them in the chat. That's what makes it fun. You guys get to dialogue. Lily's reading those comments. Joey's reading those comments, and I do occasionally in here. But when Lily's saying what she's doing, I don't like to be taught. That's true for most of us. We don't want to admit that we're not perfect. We don't like to be taught. And the scary thing when it comes to broken relationships, if it's not intuitive to reconcile a broken relationship, that means we have to learn it. But if we're unwilling to learn or be teachable, then our broken relationships will always be broken. So we've got to change. We have to own our piece of the pie, and we have to move ourselves to being more teachable to learn how to fix broken relationships. Now back to that smoker. When it wouldn't work right, I couldn't get the pellets to go into the place where they light up. I was like, what's going on? And I go to the troubleshooting and find no issue. And I'm Googling it. I'm everywhere. I start taking the thing apart. I am not a trained builder or repairer of a smoker. I'm like, I can fix this. And I go in there and start tinkering around on the thing. I make a train wreck of the thing. I don't fix it at all. I make it way worse. I have now MacGyvered it back together because I broke things that as I was tearing it apart and putting it back together because where did that part go? I couldn't find any help in repairing my broken smoker. I have only Band-Aided it, okay? Don't lean on it. It might fall over. It cooks, but it has some flaws in it because of my inability to fix things. And when it comes to relationships, I wrote it like this: we are great at starting relationships and good at maintaining them. But when it comes to fixing or reconciling them, we are not very good at them. And it doesn't stop us from trying to fix them. Here's the truth about it. When we don't change our approach and learn something new, we default, and when I say we, this is an all skate, all play for humanity. And you're going to want to push back on this, I know, and I wanted to, because I want to go, no, I'm unique in this. But here's the truth. When we go to restore or reconcile, repair a broken relationship, there are 4 things that we default to. And we've heard it in different books, and other communicators talk about it, and they talk about the 4 C's, and I liked how they labeled it the 4 C's or C4 to remind us, just like C4 is an explosive and blow things up. When we default to our natural way of fixing relationships, the C4 approach, it blows up the relationship. Those 4 things are, we said this last week, but if you want to write these down, is to convince, convict, coerce, and control. Those are default things for everyone. It's not unique to anyone. You might go, I don't control people. Okay, Maybe you manipulate. Well, I'm not trying to convict. Have you ever shamed anyone? Oh, you don't love me? Have you ever had a loved one call you and you just don't call me anymore. You don't make time for me. What are they doing? They're shaming you. They're guilting you into calling them more. I used to have someone that every time I'd pick up their phone, well, I'm surprised you took my phone call. You never answered. What did they just do? They entered into trying to convict me to pick up their phone call more, and they probably didn't even know it. It was just defaulting to something we do to fix broken relationships, strained relationships. Those are the 4 defaults. I know, you want to push back, but it's just true. That's our default. And you know what? Here's the deal. Why do we reach for these things first? Don't be offended by this. Because we're crazy. We're crazy people. Humanity is crazy. We go to 4 things that actually does not restore broken relationships or reconcile anything. We reach for something that never has it worked on you. Never has it made you feel more loved and more encouraged. Yet we are crazy enough to think this will work on them. This will work on my coworker, my ex-wife, ex-husband, my kids, my coworkers, my ex-boyfriend, girlfriend. I mean, you name it. It's going to work on them. I'm going to coerce them. I'm going to play God. I'm going to shame them. I'm going to convict them. I'm going to manage them. I'm going to make sure I set every detail of their life up so I can manage them to get them back to reconciling our relationship. Because after all, God reconciled our relationship with humanity through Jesus. The Christmas story, it's all about reconciling humanity. But how about when it comes to people and people? We'll just reach for the C4 approach. We'll convict, coerce, control, and convince. My question is to Lily and Joey and then you, if you would be so bold. Those are the 4. Maybe, Lily, you put them in the chat for us because I'm going to ask this, which one do you default with or go to first? Broken relationship, which one do you reach out to first? And while you think about that, me, it's convince. Let me get in front of you and I'll be a wordsmith in front of you to convince you I was right and that I did everything by the book. I remember my dad and I, when I was early on as a youth pastor, we had this episode we call Pranked. And we would just call people, film the whole thing, and we would prank them about something. And my dad was fixing up lawnmowers at the time and selling them. And so I had one of our students get on the phone and prank my dad, saying, hey, I bought one of your lawnmowers, and it wouldn't turn off. And it mowed over all these things. It started driving on its own. Like, told this elaborate, like, crazy story, okay? Like, out of control story. Like, there's no way. It's like a movie story, right? The lawnmower ran over my bushes. I couldn't stop it. And my dad was like, what? No. And he got irate on the phone. And this guy is just whining to us hilarious. And then the twist of it, the student that was talking to my dad was like, hey, do you know your son Scott Mendenhall? My dad's, what's he got to do with this? And he's screaming on the phone. Well, him and I just pranked you. And my dad's like, what? What? This isn't real? No, we just pranked you. You've been pranked. He lost it, hung up the phone. We're laughing our heads off, crying. Well, my dad ended up not speaking to me. Well, in that story, I was like, man, I got to drive home and get in front of my dad and convince him that we were just being funny and not trying to hurt him, and convince him that it was okay to do it, when in fact it probably wasn't the best to do that to people. Wasn't an act of love when we're putting people on their heels and making fun of them. And I learned that through that process. My dad was right. Now the way he handled it, probably not, but he was right in that, okay, I tried to convince him of all these things, and it was like me trying to say, Dad, this is your issue, not my issue, when really it was me. I was the offender. I wasn't really offended until the way my dad handled it. Then what? Then I was offended. But I use that story to say I reach out really quick to convince people. Now, Joey and Lily are going, oh, yeah, I've seen that before. Oh, yeah, okay. It's being mindful of what you reach out first with, so that when you do it, you're going, oh, that's not how I fix broken relationships. That's the wrong approach. We're going to give you the right approach here. Lily, what do you default to in those when you think about repairing broken relationships?
Probably control, because I think I can just like what is this again? Puppets.
Oh, puppet master.
Yeah, like I can just, I don't know, define the narrative, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Joey?
I think probably I would probably say the only relationship I can think of is honestly my marriage. So I would say convince. I would say convincing that I always having an excuse for something or that it's not my fault because and explaining why so I would say convince as well for
Okay,
me.
and there's not like you guys had to pick one of the other. It's like truthful. Like it's okay if we all had the same one. It's we default to the 4 C's. Now here's what happens with the 4 C's. They are prepackaged to create something that happens every time you reach for the 4 C's. And here's why it's dangerous. Psychologists say this. Counselors would tell you this. This is what happens. And it's the same thing. They all have something in common. Now, Joey and Lily have no idea, so we're going to just put them on the spot and just have a little bit of fun. And maybe you would be so bold to put in the comment, what do you think all 4 of these C's, when we reach out and we convince, convict, coerce, and control, what do they all have in common besides they start with the letter C? I'm just taking that right off the table. Lily, what are you saying that they all share?
What do they share?
Yeah.
They share.
The best was that you just like a little third grader. Anytime you start with I know
Joey,
it's gonna be a good one. Joey, she's defaulting to you.
What do they share?
They share.
They share.
Convince, control, coerce. They share. I don't know. Self.
They share
Okay.
manipulation.
That's fair. Manipulation is a bit like controlling, so you guys are bouncing around like little super balls there. Joey's close because it is about self, but this is what they all share in common, and when I learned this week, it's like an explosion. They all create a feeling to the other person when you're using them on them. It's the feeling it creates on the person on the other side of the broken relationship. And it's one word, it's rejection. It creates rejection for the other person. They don't feel loved by you. When you're controlling some, do you feel loved? When you catch on that they're just manipulating you, do you go, wow, I feel warm and fuzzy, let's snuggle up by a fire? Or does it continue to push you away? What it does is it makes the person on the other side of the 4 C's, it makes them feel rejection, which then makes them unavailable emotionally. I wrote it like this. What is kryptonite, Lily, to Superman?
It's his, it hurts him. Every time it's just like his bad thing.
His bad thing. Joey, do you have a better way of saying it than it's his bad thing? What is kryptonite to Superman?
You said what bad thing?
Yeah, it's like his temptation. It's his biggest. I don't know.
I don't want to say anything. I'm gonna be slow to speak here.
Oh my goodness!
Or not speak at all.
You're letting me be the.
Yeah, Lily, you were okay until you added the last little line there where you were like, it's his temptation. It's not. It's his weakness. It's the only weakness he has. You get kryptonite close to Superman, he loses all his power and ability to be Superman. He becomes like a normal human, if not weaker. So in relationships, rejection is the kryptonite to relationships, especially when you want to restore it or reconcile it. If you want to destroy any relationship, then use the 4 C's. Try to control them, coerce them, try to convict them, try to do those 4 things, and you will see that the relationship is sabotaged. So, if rejection is what is created by the 4 C's, when I try to control, I'm trying to say I'm right about the issue. I wrote it like this way. Let me back up. Pretend I just didn't say it the way I said it. Even when I am 100% right in the relationship problem, right? And that's very rare. But let's say I'm 100% right. The way I'm telling the story is the way it happened. And I still reach for the 4 C's to tell them I was 100% right. I go to control, and I try to convict them and convince them. All these things, when I start to reach for those, I'm still causing rejection. I think this is the game changer if we can all do this. Rejection, here's how I wrote it. Rejection closes hearts. it makes other people less accessible emotionally, and it undermines yours and my influence in the relationship. All of which sounds avoidable. All of this is not intuitive to us. We think the 4 C's is going to fix it, and it doesn't. It doesn't work on you, and it's not going to work on somebody else. It's actually going to sabotage the entire relationship. So, what is it that every person wants in a relationship? What is it that everybody is after? Going to throw it to Joey and Lily again. What is it? And you got to think personally, and I'm not looking for the word love, okay? So taking that right off the plate. What is it that you on the other side of these cameras on your computer and phones, what is it in relationships that you and I desire in healthy relationships? What do you think that is, Joey?
I'm just going to throw out a one-word answer. Understanding.
Ooh, you're in the neck of the woods, Joey. Impressive. How about you, Lil?
Well, if the opposite of rejection is acceptance.
Ooh, look at the two. They're firing on all two
What'd you
cylinders.
I said acceptance.
Okay.
Yes. That's what we want when especially in a broken relationship, what you are feeling the tension is that no longer are you accepted by the other individual and something's created the gap. In healthy relationships, what we are after is being accepted for who you are in every area. Now, let me ask this question, and please write it in the chat. Is being in a position, accepting everyone in all their isms, does that mean I agree with everything they do? Do I have to agree, Lily, to everything you do to accept you in all of your laughter and energy and emotions? Do I?
No, absolutely not. Because if you did, we would probably not be here right now. At least we wouldn't be here with the amount of grace we're here with currently. So, no, you don't have to agree.
Okay, how about you, Joe? Do you think that's right, what Lily's saying? Or is it, like, let's say you like the Green Bay Packers. Do I go, I like everything about you, but you're Green Bay Packer? Or when we say we accept everything, is that what we're saying? I accept everything and I find no issue with you at all?
Yeah, I think Lily said it well. You know, you can still accept the person, but not agree with every little detail of things. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with Lily said it well.
Okay, whenever you don't know the answer, just default to Lily. I like it. And I do the same thing. It's dangerous. It really is. The results are always interesting. Oh, okay, so let me tell a story from last week, because this is week 2 on broken relationships, and you're really going to need all these weeks to really have a owner's manual on how to reconcile relationships with people. My mom visited, and she was up here with her brother. We had such a great time. It's been a long time since I've seen my mom and her brother, my uncle. I haven't seen him in 6 years. So it was such a great time coming right off of Thanksgiving, and they were here. And my mom was in the kitchen. Lily was there. Holly, my wife, was there. And the 4 of us are talking. And my mom goes, do you want to know what I heard last week? What I learned last week? What God said to me in my broken relationships? And I'm like, I have no idea, right? I'm like, what is this? And she begins to tell a story. Lily, remember this?
So good.
Okay, she begins to tell this story. And I want to make sure, I ask all permission to tell this story. My mom's in the chat. But there's no age on restoring and reconciling relationships. Oh, I'm too old to reconcile a relationship. No, you're aware of a broken relationship, reconcile it. My mom, she's no spring chicken, you know what I mean? Is that right, Lil? Would you say that?
Your mom is a spring chicken?
Not a spring chicken. Do you know what that means?
What? I am nervous to say something right now. Joey's like, don't talk.
Did you say that, Joey?
No, I just was shaking my head like, I just, those questions that I'm always like, go to Lily, go to Lily, go to Lily. Go to Lily, go to Lily.
Is that because you don't know?
Because I'm like, I felt the same thing. I'm scared to say my answer.
Your mom is not a spring chicken?
Yeah, that means my mom's not exactly young.
Oh,
okay?
That's not what I was
What
thinking.
were you thinking?
I
What is
was
it?
thinking like, I'm a spring chicken when it...
Well, this is going to be great.
No, the first thing I thought of was like in the morning. Like how quickly you get out of bed and you're just like, whoa, it's time for the day. I am if that's what in my mind what a spring chicken was, I am 100% that. Like I love mornings. I'm like,
okay, I'm glad we clarified that. Okay.
You want to know my thought?
Yeah, what is your thought? Everybody's wanting to share now. What is
Well,
your
no, the only thing that was in my brain at the time was spring chicken. I was just trying to figure it out, so I was confused.
I was confused.
What?
Okay. Spring chicken means you're not very young, okay? My mom's not a spring chicken. Well, we spent a lot of time on that. My mom's like, okay, you've beaten the horse. Get off the dead horse. Okay, so my mom's not young, but she's still responding to what God is saying through this. Okay, where are my broken relationships? Even if the person doesn't know it's broken. Like my mom began to tell a story of many decades ago when she worked for her job. She was empowered and given money from her job to go purchase Christmas gifts. And she went and purchased Christmas gifts. And as she purchased Christmas gifts, somehow or another, I don't have all the details. Lily, maybe you can help. She earned enough points or rewards to get tickets to a basketball game that she went to, but never asked if she could take those tickets or anything, just took them. And she felt God was saying, hey, you got to make that right. No one at her place of employment, I don't think, the way she was saying it, has any idea. So she's going to call them up, send a letter, I don't know how she's going to actually do it, and reconcile a broken relationship that's potentially only one-sided when she knows she wronged them. Because, why? Because she felt a conviction. She felt God tapping her heart. That relationship needs to be restored. Because here's the thing. Why would we do this? Because when we have a problem with other people, we have a problem with God. We need to be in right standing with God where we ask forgiveness and accept and believe and confess our issues. But we also need to be in right standings with people. We have to fix those relationships, even the ones that they don't know you wronged them. Whoo! That makes it so interesting and so much tension in it because it's like, why am I going to do that? Because here's why. Because there's a result. There's something really positive about it. It's this. We're only as happy as our core relationships are healthy.
That's good.
Your happiness is a direct correlation to your core relationships' health. So, if you know there's unhealthy relationships, then your happiness will only have a certain amount of happiness you can get because you're self-sabotaging yourself by not reconciling those relationships. And these are not my words, these are Jesus' words. Core meaning the most important relationships you have. And happy means being content. That if you want to find contentment in life, then make sure your core relationships are healthy and reconciled. Because we want to be reconciled with God, especially followers of Jesus. We want to do that. Maybe you're watching because you just want your relationships. Here's when we hope you enter in a relationship with God. But here's the truth: is that you can use these things to restore broken relationships. See, here's the other scary thing about broken relationships: is that it takes a toll on you or me. I mean, if you hang around here long enough, you know that my dad and I have a broken relationship. And it's very painful at times because for 4 years I haven't spoke to my dad. My dad has never met two of my kids. And it's like, it really at times strains on me. And I wrote it like this because I have experienced it. A broken or unreconciled relationship takes its toll on you. On your emotions, on your mind, and even on your physical body. That's true. I've experienced it. I didn't need the psychologist to tell me that in books and stuff. But they tell you all the time. Jesus comes along and tells you that, hey, broken relationships will wear you down. Have you ever said this? Have you ever said this? Or has anyone said this to you? Or have you ever said this about somebody? Sir, ma'am, your problems stem from your healthy relationships with your parents and siblings. Said no one. That's just not how we say it. That's not true. We say it in the reverse. Sir, man, your problems are from your unhealthy relationships with people that you have in your life. So go fix them, and your emotions will be better, and your physical body will be better. And remember this. The goal in reconciling relationships is not actually reconciliation. It's no regrets. Because we don't control all the pieces. We can't manipulate the other person, though we try. See, when we really try to reconcile, if that's the goal, then we enter in with a third party trying to manipulate and to shame them to do what you want them to do. We said this last week, but I just want to make sure we understand that. Now, it's also important that we want our prayers to be, God, I want this reconciled today. I want this relationship to be restored. I see how God reconciled humanity through Jesus back to you. Okay, now I'm going to do those principles in my relationship. I want to be restored into a good relationship with my Father. Pray like that. But it cannot and should not be your goal. Your goal and my goal when it comes to reconciling broken relationships needs to be no regrets. And all of this is so good to remind you because I think we forget those things. The goal is no regrets, but I'm going to pray that it's reconciled. Your mindset should be, and this is how I wrote it to make sure, well, how does this look when we're talking about my goal of regret? Here it is. Mindset should be, I did everything in my power to keep the welcome mat out and to make sure the door is always open to the other person on the broken relationship, to make sure that I'm emotionally available, to make sure that all obstacles have been removed, that I have done everything in my power to take the pressure off the other person. But when we reach for the 4 C's, what's that do? It puts all the pressure on the other person. See, the temptation now, like you're saying, I bet you're going to go, okay, so I'm just going to decide now not to use the C4 approach. I'm not going to use the 4C approach or the C4 approach. But here's the problem with that. Those are not decisions. Lily, do you catch what I'm doing? If you can catch the wordplay, those are not decisions. Can you hear what I'm saying? When we decide to not reach for the C4, I'm just going to decide ahead of time, I'm not going to control them. I'm not going to coerce them. I'm not going to manage them or manipulate. I'm not going to do. Those are not decisions. What do you think I'm saying there, Lil?
Those are not decisions. Those are not decisions. I don't know why Joey.
Joey, she needs rescued.
They're not.
Joey, what are you saying? What do you think? Those are not decisions.
They are not. They're not going to go overnight. Pretty much, I think you gotta work on.
You're reaching.
It's more of a decision to work on getting rid of them and getting more fruits of the Spirit. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. As the battery is exhausted there. In cold weather, batteries last a lot shorter. So, when we're coming to this, and I'm saying those are not decisions, those are, I'm not going to do something decisions. I'm not going to speak like that. I'm not going to, it's like this, okay? And before I say it's like this and you explain it, a not decision actually isn't enough to get something done. I'm not going to eat sugar anymore, so I want to be fit and healthy. Well, I'm not eating sugar isn't going to actually get you fully back to health, because not doing something actually isn't always what you need. Yeah, don't eat sugar, but work out. To be healthy is to not eat sugar, but to also do something, to get physically in shape. A not decision doesn't restore or reconcile a relationship. It's like half the component to decide not to do something. Those are not decisions. You cannot restore or reconcile a relationship with not decisions. Lily, does that? I know you're working on a battery there, but does it make sense now when I say those are not decisions?
Yes. When you correlate it with, I want to be healthy, so I'm just going to stop eating sugar. Well, what are you doing now? It's like the action afterwards. And they even said it in the chat. You guys are so good. I think Joey and I just tend to overthink a little bit. Johan says, focus on the not. And Jennifer Woodham says, they're negatives instead of focusing on what you will do.
See,
so good.
We are all intuitive when we think about it, but it's the action part to it. It's like, I think it's sometimes easier. I know a lot of people when it comes to health will miss the food they're not going to eat. But that actually is a little bit easier than I'm going to get outside and walk 3 miles. I'm going to lift weights. I'm going to join a gym. All these things. Because that requires money or time, or to be honest with you, naturally the body's lazy. And so to have self-discipline to do that, it's like, man, I'm just not going to do something and hope that I lose weight. you might lose a little bit of weight, but there is actions that you can do to blow up your fitness plan that you will drop weight so fast, but it requires action. And in those actions, doing some things that aren't thrilling, and that's the same thing in reconciling a relationship. Not reaching for the 4 C's is okay, but it's not going to fix the whole relationship. There needs to be movement in a direction. And so I've read these books on restoring and reconciling relationships. I've listened to heaps of people talk on it. And the best I can come down to is boiling it into 4 ways to pave the way to potential reconciliation. It's potential. There's 4 things that you and I can do that will pave the way. Last week we talked about Philippians chapter 2, verse 5. This is author Paul writing. Remember, we said in your relationships, he says, this is Paul writing to a group of people saying, in your relationships with one another, have the same mindset of Christ Jesus. What is that mindset that Jesus had? If Jesus is to bridge back into a right relationship with God, reconciling humanity to God, okay, what's the mindset? He sacrificed his life. He served others. His life wasn't greater or more important than others. So, that's what we're now going to talk about. What's that mindset? How do we get that mindset? Because it's really cool to read and maybe put it on your desk this week. I'm going to have the same mindset as God or Jesus in my relationships. But what's the application? What's the action item here? See, I wrote it like this. Reconciliation begins with us regardless of who initiated the fuss. Reconciliation begins with us regardless of who initiated the fuss. I know. Clever, right? It's like rhyming. It's like Dr. Seuss or who's one of the, right? It's meant to be that way. It's meant to make you smile a little bit. But the thing we learned about Jesus is Jesus made the moves first. He didn't wait for you and I to make the moves. He didn't say, you sort it out. I'm going to manipulate, control you. Look what I've done for you. What have you done for me? None of those. Reconciliation begins with us, no matter or regardless who initiated the fuss. Even if 100% of the problem in the broken relationship is their problem, we move in their direction. We look at it and go, I'm going to own a piece of this pie. It's not 100% of theirs because there's 2 people in this. We have to, so here's the first decision that we have to do in reconciliating a relationship. This is it. This is the part 1. This is all we're going to talk about today as we wrap this up. I will get back to, not get back at. I will get back to, not get back at. Joey, when I say that, when I read that I will get back to, not get back at, can you simplify that or is it as simple as it can get there, Joey?
I think that's pretty simple. I mean, let's see if I understand it correctly. Like, get back to fixing that relationship. Get back to helping that person that's in need instead of getting back at the person. At them, like, meaning like, I mean, convincing them that they were wrong and using those 4 C's and, am I on the right track?
You're headed totally in the right direction.
So, I think what you said is, I don't know how to get it shorter than that.
Okay, so reconciling decision number 1 for us is not a not action. It's I will get back to, not get back at. Meaning I'm going to head in their direction. I'm not going to look for ways to celebrate their failures and hope that they lose their job. And I hope that somebody does the same thing they've done to me, do to them. Those are all, I want to get back at them. Now we're going to jump into another letter that Paul writes to a group of people in Rome that are not getting along. We're going to jump in the middle of a conversation that Paul's talking to a group of people that are at odds with each other. And the interesting thing about this letter to the church in Rome, based on all the things I've looked up and heard from the people, Paul has yet to visit, by the time this letter's going out, has never visited this group of people. He doesn't know them. Why is that important? Because the way he's going to speak to them, you would think he wants something from them. That he's coming in a little bit, or he's been there, he knows the story. He's just heard the sides, and now he's jumping in to teach Jesus principles. And so author Paul jumps into a group of followers of Jesus to teach them Jesus principles. And he's very direct and to the point. So, here we're in Romans chapter 12, verse 9 says this, love must be sincere. This is how he jumps in. He's jumping in the middle of the argument and he's like, okay, listen, love must be sincere. Sincere is love. There's no faking when it comes to love. Love must be sincere love must be genuine. No pretending. Have you ever pretended to like somebody, but the minute the doors close and they're gone, you're trash talking them at an office? Or the minute you get on the phone with the other sibling, you're talking bad about that person, your mom, your dad, whatever it is. You fake in front of them, but when you're behind closed doors, behind their back, it's full on, they're the worst human ever. If you have a problem with someone and are pretending that you don't, then you have a problem. If you pretend that you have no problem, and you have a problem, you have a problem. I'll let that one sink in there a little bit. Remember, Paul doesn't know anyone in this scenario, so he has no agenda outside of teaching them Jesus' principles. The goal in reconciling a relationship is to get to the place where you see the other person as God sees them. And until you do, it's impossible to love them sincerely. When I wrote that down, like I had to sit where I was writing my notes down and let that one sink in. The goal in reconciling a relationship is to get to the place where you see the other person as God sees them. And until you do, it's impossible to love them sincerely. If the goal is to love everyone sincerely, there's some work for you to do it. You can't see them the way God sees them. Have you ever thought about, well, how does God see we're talking about the people that have done some of the heinous things and you see them in the news and you're like, to your dad, to your mother, whatever it is. Do you see them as God sees them? And until you do, you have a problem. So now some of you are starting to put together pieces, the work you need to do. Romans 12, verse 9, Paul goes on to a group he's never met, only teaching them Jesus principles. Love must be sincere, and then he goes, hate what is evil and cling to what is good. Well, that's just a good churchy phrase, right? I just can picture a pastor in a really deep voice, raspy, hitting a podium going, hate what is evil and cling to what is good. Paul is saying you need to redirect your hate. It's okay to hate something, but not a person. It's okay to hate something, but not a person. You can't hate a person. And I know so many of you go, I don't hate anyone. Like, because that would make me so small and shallow if I actually hated a person. I strongly dislike them. But let's be honest. Let's just be honest. You hate them. You wouldn't say it, but in your heart, you want them to fail. When they get sick, you want them to get really sick. You don't want them to die, but you really want them to feel the pain. You want them to feel pain in some area in life that they caused you. That is an act of hatred. If you have two options, it is love, and not to love is hate. Those are your two options. So when we don't act in love to somebody, we are actually choosing hate. And when I begin to think like that, I begin to go, wow, I got to change a lot of things. And when I don't treat somebody with love, my children, my wife, or coworkers, or people I know, when I don't do love to them, there better be a fast apology because I just did an act of hate, and that individual would never go, oh, that was an act of hate. But that's just for me to process like, man, if I don't do what love requires me to do, I am choosing hate. And that breaks my heart. We got to redirect our hate to the something. What is the something? I know this is like, what is that something? So look at it like this. I don't hate them, but I hate what has happened to us. Because I'm not going to hate the person. I hate the separation. When you look at what God is trying to point out here, hate what is evil. Sin is evil. He's referring to the things that separate us. Hate the things that separate us. Find the passion in there's a gap between somebody and I need to restore that. Even if they don't know about it and you do, it's still on you to fix the gap. As hard, as complicated that might be, as embarrassed you would be and as humbled as you would be, begin to close the gap. Because that is redirecting our hate and will make us move when we go, I hate that there's sin in us, between us. I don't hate them, but I hate what's happened to us. If we decide that we are going to hate what and not a who, we begin to move in their direction. When we decide to do this, we begin and are able to cling to what is good. Because we're beginning to move in a direction of reconciliation or reconciling the relationship, fixing the broken relationship. When we decide to hate the thing that separates us, what happened to us, the fallout, and cling to good is to, man, I see it. I see how God sees this. I love the person. Paul goes on to the group of people he doesn't know and is being very direct because he's, again, teaching Jesus principles. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. This is where Holly and I, we have these 3 Ds in our house that we talk about in raising our kids. If you break one of the 3 Ds, you're in trouble. And they all happen to do with relationships. These are our 3 Ds. If you're a parent, you can take them. Don't disrespect people. Don't be dishonest. And don't be disobedient. And when I read, be devoted to one another, honor one another above yourself, this is the attitude or the mindset that Jesus had. He's going to put their issue above his issue. He's going to put their concerns above his. And that's so hard for us as humans to do because we are, Joey said it earlier, by nature, selfish. So when our kids don't honor each other, dishonor by maybe taking a toy, punching one another, the list goes on. When you can break down the action, that falls under dishonest. Why would we have a problem with that? Because Paul writes a Jesus principle here. He's making sure we understand what Jesus did for us and the mindset he had. Honor one another above yourself. So, prefer the other one. Let your siblings go first in line. Serve them the macaroni and cheese first. Don't eat all of the macaroni and cheese. If you're going to eat it all, ask to see if somebody in the house wants some of the macaroni and cheese. Honor other people. Honor is this, to defer to each other. Your problem first. Your issues. Your concerns first. Your wants first. Above mine. Your first. I'm not going to try to control anymore. I'm going to try to understand you better. Think about it if we move to that. I'm not going to try to control you anymore. I'm going to try to understand. I'm not going to try to convince you anymore. I'm going to try to understand you better. I'm going to understand why did you behave like that? Why is there this gap? How do you see it? When we stop trying to convince people of our side and begin to learn them, we begin to learn so much. Honor when you want to know the position of other people, you're learning, man, let's just, any hot political topic, learn the other side. Ask them questions because it's a way of honoring them. It's a way of putting them above you. Then you have the mindset of Jesus when we do that. Paul goes on, Romans chapter 12, verse 14, bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Bless is to commend. And still that word, it's like bless, we don't use commend. I commend you, or yeah, well, good job. It's to give them praise. Bless those who persecute you. Give them praise. Look for the good and not the bad. Bless and do not curse. This is where we get, in the next part of what Paul writes here, is where we get this, I believe I wrote it like this, where we hurting people hurt people, right? It's so easy. He goes on, rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. What Jesus or Paul's trying to teach, a Jesus principle. When we do this, and you don't like the individual, when I mourn with somebody I don't like, my coworker I'm really frustrated with, or my boss, or my ex-wife or husband that I could really, like when they're not around, I'll trash talk them in front of the kids. Stop that. That's just fueling the broken relationship. When I can move in their direction and feel their pain, even though I don't like them, it will allow your light to shine brighter. When you're a follower of Jesus and you do this, you're becoming more like Jesus and being more like Jesus to them. But this is kind of this icky part of human nature. But what if their sadness and their mourning is a win for me? Paul says, then you have a problem. And you have work to do. If you secretly celebrate the loss of someone, or you hope your brother or sister don't get that house because, oh my gosh, it makes you feel, that's gross, but that's human nature at its worst. And when that rises to the surface, you have a problem. Pay attention to that tension because Jesus is trying to speak to you right there. Don't push it down. So many people last week were like, but not this person. I don't need to reconcile this person. And they're just pushing down what God's trying to bring up. Says, no, that person. If they're coming into your mind, That person, no matter how messy or awkward it is, my mom doesn't know how she's going to reconcile that. She's figuring out what it looks like, but she knows when she got home this week, she's got to figure it out. We've got to figure this out. It's going to be very different for all of us. I understand that to position ourselves to mourn with those who mourn and rejoice with those who rejoice, even when you don't like them, I understand this is almost impossible when you've been hurt by somebody. I know. I understand. I am there. With my dad. I get it. But Paul goes, live in harmony with one another and do not be proud. Proud ignites and fuels all of the 4 C's in all of us. All 4 of the C's are to prove that I am right and they are wrong. Builds me up, puffs me up, proud. You're the wrong one, you're the idiot, I'm right, you're wrong, deal with it. But Paul goes on and says, do not repay anyone evil for evil. And here's where we get hurting people hurt people. When you're hurt, you want to hurt back. You know, the best way people hurt people is we cross our arms and we say, especially as followers of Jesus, I forgave them. I don't need to move in there. I forgave them. That's all I need to do. It's their fault. I'm going to stay right here. And that's a form of getting back at and not back to. So, remember, the first decision in reconciling a broken relationship is, I will get back to and not back at. If we just simply try not to get back at, well, simply said, that's only halfway. And when I look at what God did through Jesus, it wasn't halfway. He didn't stop with forgiveness. So I heard somebody put together a prayer, and I thought, I'm gonna hijack that prayer really quick because I think it's so good. And this is a prayer that God will answer, I'm pretty convinced with, because it's just a good prayer. Here it is. Heavenly Father, help me see blank, the name, the person, the way you do. Help me feel towards that person the way you do. I've been praying this for a long time, honestly. Heavenly Father, help me see my dad the way you do. And help me feel towards my dad what you do. Because when we begin to do that, we begin to make sure the door's open, the welcome mat is out, and we begin to move our way back to instead of getting back at. See, God isn't angry at the person that wronged you. I'm going to say that again. God's not angry at the person that wronged you. He's not offended. God is upset what has happened between the two of you, the gap, the sin against each other. God is broken over the sin that you've committed and the sin that I've committed, because sin breaks relationships. When there's a broken relationship, there is sin in the middle of there. Sometimes we want to say, well, that's not a sin. When we're not in the right relationship, because Jesus came and said, he said it so clearly, love one another. Love your enemies. Love your neighbor as yourself. And when we're not loving everybody like God loves us, that is a sin. I'm not trying to get up all in your business and make you feel guilty, because that would be controlling and manipulating. If that's what you feel, that's called conviction, and God's saying, time to change. This Christmas season, grabbing a hold of what we saw in the original Christmas story, God reconciling human to God, we can learn from him and reconcile our relationship. And the first decision we need to begin to put into practice is, I'm making a decision today to not get back at, but to get back to. And next week, we'll come back with number 2 on the decisions we need to make to reconciling relationships. Let's pray. Jesus, I really hope this is hitting home for everyone, everywhere watching this, through their phones, their computers, their TVs, wherever it is. May you speak to them. May that conviction pour into and through their devices. That we know names and people that we need to reconcile with. And as awkward and as embarrassing it might be at times, we know it's time for us to move at getting back to and not back at. May names be flooding in and opportunities to restore and reconcile happen. We thank you for the example through the Christmas story, your son coming to this earth and having the mindset of other people are more important, to serve and to not be served. May we do the same thing, and may we begin to move and not just go halfway, folding our arms and just say, oh, I forgive them. May we begin to look for opportunities to continue to move in their direction. Jesus, we absolutely love you. In your name, amen. Thank you guys for everybody that's always here every week. We enjoy this. We look forward to this. Early in the morning, kicking off Sundays with you guys. If you're brand new around here, subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you as part of our church family online. We're going to be here every Sunday. Have been for over a year and a half now, almost 2 years, and we've loved every moment of it. So thanks for calling this home. We really do want you to call this place home. And we want to thank you, those in your generosity for giving to Unlock Church. Joey's going to give you a way to give. And before he does that, we're doing this thing called Greatest Gift this year. We're asking for those that call this home, would you think about giving a greatest gift to God this year? Maybe this Christmas you have budgeted out, I'm going to spend $3 on this individual, and that's the top dollar you're going to spend. Would you think about giving just a little, like the greatest gift, your greatest gift this Christmas to God through Unlock Church? It's just a thought. It's free for you to decide not to. There's no one tracking you down. Oh, you didn't give. We're not keeping. This is a way to just challenge ourselves to be generous. Joey, how can people give?
Yes, it is very easy to give here at Unlock, so you can text Unlock to the number 77977, probably the easiest way, or you can go to unlockchurch.com, push giving at the top, and follow directions from there. But 2 easy, simple ways to give here at Unlock.
Thank you, Joey. Very easy. Thank you for hanging with us, Joey, today. I love your energy. I can't wait for people to see your Christmas throwing abilities as well. Somewhat impressive, my friend. If they make a sport, you need to sign up. That said, everybody, if you're local and you don't come to the AMC movie theater, you can always join us at 10 a.m. at Maple Grove AMC movie theater. If you're wanting to hop on a plane and enjoy some ice skating this weekend, we are doing an outreach in the community here where we are going to pay for the community between 7 and 9 p.m. for free ice skating. It's just a random act of kindness over the Christmas holiday, and we're really excited to do it and serve our community. That's what your generosity is allowing us to do, is be a light in the darkness, and we're thinking about ways how to do it in your community. Maybe those that live in Tampa or Florida, what is something Unlock Church can do to see and meet needs in your community? We need to know about them, and we'll decide how we can be best at relieving pressure or helping with a solution in those situations. Guys, we love you. Have a great rest of your afternoon. We'll see you next week with a brand new One Wheel video on my channel, and we'll be right here to chat about it. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye now.